This is just me drawing from reference. I try to keep loose and fast. I remain pretty loose when I'm drawing from reference. I'm not trying to recreate a photograph. Roughly, that is the shoulder line. I try to start real fast. There's the rib cage. This is a hole. Keep in mind the general shapes of the body, but remember there is a skeleton foundation inside the body. This is a hole. Something can go straight through that hole. There's a spine. Duh. Anyway. And call it a stick figure if you want to. What a stick figure really is just a skeleton. A more sophisticated stick figure. Try to remember you are seeing everything three-dimensionally. There is something that I often noticed, and that has to do with the golden ratio. The golden ratio in nature is this ratio where three lines are in the ratio where the two shorter lines added together equal the longer line. It's like 1.6 something or other. It's like a very important number, I guess, number relationship in nature. The way trees grow, the way things fold, everything, you know, the way drapery works and falls, and this is like one instance, and there's tons of them. If you just trace drawings, you'll find them everywhere, or trace photos, you'll find them everywhere. But this is like one of the simpler examples of it, and it's basically just any fold or bend in nature. That's that ratio right there. It's usually, you know, the three lines. That would be one where your side bends there, but you'll find it everywhere. I just wanted to point that out. I might point it out some more, but okay. And you know, you can always go between different ways of doing things, whether you want trying to draw a skeleton or you want to do shapes to help get your foreshortening more correct, or whatever things coming towards you, so you draw them, you know, shapes. I don't rely on shapes all that much anymore, but they can help speed things along, and if you're real proficient with them, they're definitely a time saver, roughing things out. But I tend to be quite loose when I draw, so I don't use shapes quite so much as I'll personally just do things like this, where you have just things that are passing in front of other things, and you know, say, look, those are arms or whatever, you know. I tend to rough things out like that. You got some foreshortening going on right here. I don't know why I'm drawing the ear first here. I think it's just a decent reference point, I guess, from what I'm looking at. was going to explain the skeleton a little better and how it correlates here at the neck, but yeah, it's still a little big, but you know, it's all the same. So this guy's hips are sort of back here, and you know, drawing just that basic underwear shape can help get the hips down. Of course, I'm always thinking through where the skeleton is and when the muscles attach and all that stuff, which hopefully I'll get to here shortly. But one thing that I talk about that's always on my mind, which is similar to the that golden ratio thing I was talking about, is rhythm lines. I call them rhythm lines. It's not a very good way of explaining things, but when you're drawing, just you kind of get in the habit of this motion because you know, one line correlates how another line is, and you know, say like we have this movement here, that's just how things flow, but you'll see that, like, you know, this line goes here, this line goes here, see that relation, and this tricep line goes here, and you know, say like this bend in the arm a lot will correlate with how things fold over that line, and you got this correlation coming again with the rhythm lines. It's just how things, you know, fall together in nature. Every line, you notice it all the time on figures and everything else, really. This line turns into this line. And I already started drawing that arm a little bit, so I might as well draw it a little better and make it a little more clear to you. And again, I'm loosely drawing from reference here, but you know, like I say, you learn these rhythms of how things go together, and you know the structure that lies underneath and how things connect. It all just sort of, you know, you move fast, you move quickly, and it helps. Use that brain of yours. Basic hand, draw a block, roughly the shape of a hand, and I don't know, this is since this is from reference, it's a little different than I would just normally feel comfortable doing, because I like to exaggerate foreshortening, and I sort of have that wide angle lens vision that you see in movies and stuff. That's kind of how I see things in my mind when I draw, because I want to make things dynamic for the viewer. But, so this hand might look a little small. Okay, anyway, the hand, the basic shape of the hand is this cigarette box or something here. And you got to remember, straight lines aren't a common thing in nature. Most of your drawing won't be straight lines unless you're just trying to be all stylized and clever. And, you know, you get a straight line when you get two things that are pressing together. Other than that, you'll get curved lines. But yeah, so you have to remember that, you know, the bones in your hand are round. Your hand, you can take a ball, put it in your hand, it'll go around that ball and squeeze it, and the bones that run through your hand are all curved bones, like this. So you got to kind of keep that in mind, and it helps out if you were looking at the other side of the hand where you have the palm, you know, just that butt-shaped thing. Call that a palm of your hand. So call it thumb side, whatever, you know, hinge, thumb. Anyway, it's got this indent here in the middle of your hand that's round, set round ball in it. everything is, it's not an actual square, so just remember that, keep that in mind. Okay, so you have this little cigarette box, and then you have another hinge that comes off of that on one side, like a wing, hinge, whatever. That's your thumb, and you still have that basic 3 relationship. Here's that golden ratio thing again. Your fingers are the golden ratio. The length of your knuckles are that magical number where the sum of the 2 shorter is always equal to the longer one. And you have that relationship in your hands. You have it on the face map, so I talk about the face map now since I'm not really going to use it, but I don't like the face map, and there's a number of reasons why. Basically, drawing is about learning to see 3-dimensionally. I'm not trying to take a photograph and make a photograph. I'm not taking a 2D image and converting it to a 2D image. I'm 3-dimensionally creating something in my mind to put on paper. I'm taking 3D, making it 2D. When you teach somebody a face map, you're teaching them to map things out 2-dimensionally, like just a map, and they're trying to like look at something, convert it to 2D on this map, and then put that on paper. So like you're doing some extra conversions there that just you don't need to do. Your mind has a tendency to do these things on its own. You just got to learn to trust your mind when you're drawing from life. I mean, there's some basic ratios and stuff that are kind of worth knowing a little bit, but you really could learn how to draw quite well without learning any of these maps and stupid proportions and ratios and crap. I guess I didn't really explain that very well, but maybe some other time. There's those swooping lines, that relationship I was talking about earlier. The hands is just a number of swooping lines that correlate with each other, and like scoops, like a spoon or something, and it just tends to work out that way. You got this line, kind of a scoop. Your knuckle would be the opposite, and another scoop there. I basically construct all my hands just out of that relationship of swoopy lines and scoops, and you know how they overlap each other. Say there's sort of your knuckle, and there'd be sort of a fingernail shape there. I don't know what I call that. There's your knuckle. This is overlapping this, and you know, horrible examples of drawing a hand, but I guess I can't really show that one so well right now. Anyway, I get back to the drawing, and this arm is stretched, so you know the bicep isn't flexed. Biceps do not look like that. And this one, since it's not flexed, it's straight, will be stretched out. And your tricep, just like the hamstring on your leg, you'll eventually learn. This line here, which none of this is actually in the photograph, but this upper line of your back correlates to the shoulder. It just goes through, and this is behind. Anyway, I'll just leave it like that for now. But okay, this is part of your tricep here. I'll just kind of draw through here so you can kind of see it a little better. The tricep is those 3 muscles. This lower part is the bigger part of your tricep, and then you got that snake that goes around your arm on the other side, and we just got this bicep passing in front of it. So you're thinking 3-dimensionally, it's just the tricep is behind the bicep, and you can get both. You know, this is tricep, this is also tricep. Man, you get that a lot just depending on, you know, how you're looking at the arm, what angle you're looking, what angle the bones are, the joints are, and all that. So you know, it's not just a bubble figure, and then, you know, there is a logic there. And that logic is the skeleton. Learn to draw the skeleton.